What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to assess and how to replace both the engine mounts and the transmission mount on your 5th gen 4Runner. So if your 4Runner has been, clunky when you hit the gas, shaking at idle, or just feels kind of loose with a delayed throttle response, like you give it gas and all of a sudden thud, you kind of accelerate, there's a good chance your engine and transmission mounts are worn. So today we're going to be fixing that, so stay tuned. All right, so a quick breakdown on the engine mounts. Your engine and transmission mounts are basically rubber and metal isolators. They, 1, hold your drivetrain in place, 2, absorb vibration, and 3, they prevent metal-on-metal contact. From the factory, they're designed more for comfort and not so much abuse. So, once you add bigger tires, extra armor, camping gear, and start towing heavy loads, you're putting way more stress on these mounts than Toyota really intended for long term. Here's how to tell if yours might be worn. If you experience a clunk when shifting from park to drive, if you have vibrations, during idle or acceleration, or if you experience drivetrain slop. So a way to check if these mounts are worn is to put your vehicle in drive, hold down your brake pedal firmly, and hit the gas. If you notice your engine is rising up, or if your engine looks like it's trying to escape the engine bay, then yeah, it's probably time to replace these. You can repeat this process with the vehicle in reverse to check the passenger side engine mount, and it should rise on the opposite side. With my vehicle, I could actually see the driver's side raising significantly more while in drive than it did on the passenger side, so likely my driver's side is wearing out. The transmission mount is much easier to assess because you can just visually look at it. And what you want to look for there is cracked rubber or sagging. Mine is actually sagging a bit and a grease in it. So, it's not terrible, but probably a good time to replace it before it gets any more worn out. All right, so let's jump right into it. Let's go over the tools that you need and the parts to do the job, and then we'll jump right into the job. All right, guys, so here's the tools to do the job. So we have a pry tool. So this will help us get those clips off for that splash shield. We have some wrenches here. I have a 17 millimeter. I have the 17 millimeter half moon wrench. This is gonna make your job a lot easier. I didn't have this when I did the job, but I did buy this, and it just came, and I did test it out. So I put some information in the video that will hopefully make the job a lot easier for you by using this wrench. This will allow you to get into an area where there's obstruction and get the nut undone without too much hassle. You could use the half moon or you could use an S shape. I will leave links in the description to both. The S shape would be nice, but this one will also work. Then we have a 12 millimeter, a 14 millimeter, a 3/8 ratchet, an extension. We have these universal joint extensions for our sockets. So I have in 3/8 and a 1/2 inch. I have a 1/2 inch ratchet and extension, metric sockets in 3/8 and a 1/2 inch. Now you're gonna want a headlamp because it is pretty dark, and you're gonna want safety glasses like this because you're gonna be under the vehicle, dirt and stuff's gonna fall into your eyes. We will use some blue thread locker and a torque wrench to do this job, and that's really all you need to do the job. I will leave links in the description to where you can find most of this stuff. All right, so here are our engine mounts and our transmission mount. Now the engine mounts are the same part number for both sides. I went with OEM. I would not go with anything other than OEM for this job. You don't want to be replacing these in 3 or 4 years. It's not a job you want to be doing over and over, so go with OEM. They're gonna last you. So how the engine mount works is this part mounts onto our frame, and this part mounts onto the engine. There's a bracket on the engine that will come down onto this, and the engine just basically moves around. Problem is this rubber in here will degrade over time, and this will start to move around a lot more. It'll start to crack, it'll start to weather. That's why I'm replacing mine. Feels a little clunky, feels a little bit loose. I thought I'd just preemptively replace these as I'm gonna be doing a lot of towing. This is the transmission mount here. So the transmission mount is the same concept. You have rubber here, and you can't really see it, but there's rubber that goes around here. This will mount down onto the cross member, this piece here, and this will mount onto the transmission, and the transmission moves around, and this moves around in this rubber. If this rubber completely degraded, it wouldn't ride nice if the rubber fully degraded, but your transmission wouldn't escape because this is holding it in place. So that's how that transmission mount works. Let's get these on the vehicle.
All right, so we're gonna start off by loosening our front lug nuts with our vehicle on the ground. Then chock your rear tires and then jack up the front of the vehicle. With the vehicle jacked up, you can put your jack stands under the frame to support it and lower that jack. You can now start removing those lug nuts completely and removing your tires. Place your tire under the vehicle just for extra support and safety in case the vehicle comes down, and you can now remove your skid plate.
All right, guys, so we're working in a very tight, dark spot here. So I'm gonna do my best to show you what I'm doing using a small camera. Make sure you have, a headlamp on, some safety goggles if you're getting under because dirt and stuff could fall in your eyes. But I'm going to use the factory Toyota service manual. I'm going to put diagrams up on the screen with arrows to show you kind of what I'm doing as I'm doing it, and hopefully give you some tricks to speed up the process and just make it easier for when you guys tackle this job yourself. All right, so coming into our wheel well here, we have this splash guard here. There's 5 clips we need to undo. So you can use a pry tool or, a flathead screwdriver, and you just want to come in and pry these little clips off. They come off quite easily. Just kind of work around them, move them around in a circle.
All right, so we're getting our first look at the engine mount here. As we come in, you can see there's a lot of obstructions in the way. One of them is a wire. We do have 2 14mm nuts to remove, and this one is 17 on the top. The 17 is close to that positive wire, so you might want to disconnect your negative battery terminal. I'll leave that up to you to decide.
All right, so to get better access through here, I'm going to undo this bolt here and this bolt here, and that's going to allow me to move these brake lines just a little bit out of the way so I can reach in there. So that's a 12mm. You could hit these with some penetrating oil ahead of time. All right, so I have a 17 here. Unfortunately, this shock tower on the driver's side does block our leverage, so we might need to use a technique here. I am going to use just a wrench, and these wrenches have a little bit of an angle on the end, on the closed end part, so let's slide that in there.
All right, so I really struggled here. It was difficult to get leverage because that shock tower's in the way. So this half moon wrench that I mentioned earlier could be the solution to your problems. An S-shaped wrench might even work even better, as you might have more leverage, but this will get it away from that shock tower in a spot where you can just push on it.
All right, so the trick for that main 17mm bolt was to get this 17mm wrench on top of it. What I did is I got in here, I grabbed onto the upper control arm with this hand, my right hand, I grabbed onto the wrench with this hand, and I just pulled outwards. So I used this to kind of anchor myself, and then I pulled out that way and I cracked it. Once I cracked it with the 17mm wrench, I was able to slowly get this bit on. See how it moves? So because it moves around, I was able to kind of sneak it in above this line, this red line in here. Once I got it down, I just turned it and I very slowly undid it. But as I mentioned before with the tools, if you had an S-shaped wrench, an obstruction wrench, I'll leave a link in the description, that would make your life so much easier because it literally would work around this shock tower. You could get leverage on it. So just a little tip there that could save you potentially hours of stressing and trying to get that bolt undone.
All right, so with that 17mm nut undone, we can now start jacking up our engine. You can use a cherry picker or a jack with some blocks. I actually ended up jacking where that red arrow is. So just off to the side of the oil pan, I was able to get better leverage and get the engine up just a bit higher by doing it here. And that's closer to where the mount is.
All right, so we got that nut off from the top there at the back. Now we have 2 14mm nuts to take off. So there's one right here, and there's one right over here. And I did put liquid wrench on those to help break them. They did look a little rusty. So I've got my 14mm wrench on there, and I'm going to use the interlocking wrench technique. Slide your 13 on there, and then you kind of twist it around, and then you get more leverage. Just make sure it's seated on the nut, and then go like that, and you'll break it loose. What you do is I took my 14, got it on that nut, took the 13, popped it in, and just cracked it. All right, so I'm just going to demonstrate with the new mount how I got these out. This one, I started undoing the nut on the top and it started spinning and it wasn't catching on anything. There's this little kind of piece of metal that should catch on something, but it just wasn't. So I used a 14mm, and just under here, I just got the 14mm on it. And then I just used another wrench on the top. I used a ratcheting wrench on the one towards the front of the vehicle here, just gave her. It came undone. Fortunately, when I was spinning this nut, this one locked into place and it was easy.
All right, so there's a small bracket that we need to remove that is at the back of the engine mount. So towards the back of the vehicle, it's a 12mm bolt that holds it on. So just undo that bolt and then remove that little bracket, and that will allow us to slide that engine mount out towards the back. That's the little bracket there. So put that off to the side, and then we can start jacking up our engine. Now you're gonna have to jack your engine up higher than you think to actually free that upper bracket from that bolt that's kind of going up through it. So keep jacking up your engine, and then eventually it will just kind of pop down and come loose, and then you can slide it out towards the bottom, and it will come out towards the back of your CV axle on your driver's side there. So just kind of use your arm on the back side of that lower control arm and just kind of feed it down and out.
All right, so I got the engine mount out. It's actually not in that bad a shape. It's still relatively tight. Now, putting in the new one, we're gonna torque down this upper nut to 53 foot-pounds of torque. and these two bolts and nuts to 30 foot-pounds of torque. Now you can't really get a torque wrench in there, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use blue Loctite. For this top one, I'm definitely gonna torque it on with some muscle since it is 53 foot-pounds of torque. These two, I will just torque it as tight as I can get it with the short wrench, and that should be about 30 foot-pounds of torque. But yeah, we'll use blue Loctite just to be safe.
All right, so here I'm applying the blue Loctite to those 3 fasteners to ensure that they don't come off. And then what I did is I took the mount and I fed it up the same way that it came out. And once I got it up into position, there's a couple tabs there that will kind of grab onto that lower mounting surface on the frame. Then I push the bolt through the mount on the engine. Then we'll torque down those two 14mm bolts to 30 foot-pounds of torque. Now I didn't show myself doing this as it's just a tight, dark area. And then we'll apply that little bracket that we removed, that little 12mm bolt. We'll apply that, and I torqued that down to about 9 or 10 foot-pounds of torque. Then I lowered the engine down, and then I did that upper 17mm, and I torqued that one down to 53 foot-pounds of torque. I just went by feel. Now we can pop our wheel on and torque that back down to spec, and then we'll move on to the passenger side. So just like the driver's side, we'll remove that splash shield. Then we'll remove those two 12mm bolts that hold on those brake lines to give us better access. Then we'll move those out of the way. Then there's this little metal tab that you can push up. Just be really careful you don't bend the actual line itself.
All right, so the secret is to get the 17mm wrench on there, come in from the other side, push with this hand and pull on that wrench with this hand, and you'll just be able to move it enough to break it loose. Now, if you do have an S-curved wrench, I think it'd make it a lot easier here as well. So, all right, now that I've broken it loose, it's coming off quite easily.
All right, so just like before, once we get that 17mm nut off, we can start jacking up our engine. I jacked up just in front of the oil pan there, right on the engine block itself, and that's close to the mount. We can now start removing those two 14mm nuts.
All right, so again, I'm coming through the front of the shock there, and I'm gonna pull with both hands, or pull with one and push with the other. Yeah, that one's on there pretty good. So that 14mm nut towards the front of the vehicle is on there pretty tight. And you definitely want to come through the front there just to grab the bolt as it slides down. All right, got it.
All right, so with those two 14mm nuts and bolts out, we can now start removing the mount. So I just kind of wiggled it around and eventually it kind of fell down and more towards the front of the vehicle. I actually removed it through the front.
So it came out kind of through here, just had to push up these lines, and then I was able to pull it out.
All right, so just like before, we'll apply blue Loctite to all 3 of those fasteners. Then we'll push that mount up the same way we brought it out. Now, I did have to lower my engine a little bit to get this to line up properly. And then I did the two 14mm bolts and nuts at 30 foot-pounds by feel. And then I lowered the engine and did that 17mm, put the splash shield back on, put the wheels on.
All right, so we got those 2 engine mounts done. Now let's do the transmission mount. Now, to do the transmission mount, basically the same concept. We're gonna support the transmission. We're actually gonna remove a cross member that kind of sits like this. So we'll take that out, unbolt the mount, put the new mount in, put the cross member in, bolt everything up.
All right, so step 1 is support the transmission. So I did this by jacking up on the transfer case as it's connected directly to the transmission. It just takes all the weight off of that mount. So jacked up there. Then I removed these cross member brackets. Now there's 8 bolts in total. The 2 back bolts I already had off as that's how my skid plate is held on. The 2 front bolts on each side were very rusted. They had never been touched. So when I tried to remove them, I snapped 2 on the one side of the driver's side. So I did apply a whole bunch of penetrating oil. I left it overnight. The next day I attempted to remove them again and they were still basically stuck on there. So I sprayed more liquid wrench inside the frame, added some heat, then I managed to pull them off with vice grips, the 2 on the driver's side. I actually had to apply heat on the passenger side as well, as added the penetrating oil again, and then eventually I got those ones off, but they were on there pretty good as well. All right, so now we're going to remove 4 bolts underneath the cross member assembly. Now these are not very long bolts, they're just little 12 mils, so you can remove them. Don't be surprised when you pull them out and they're very short. That's just the way they are. You did not snap the bolt. Then we're going to remove this little heat shield that goes over the exhaust here. So those are 2 12mm. You have to use a wrench to get in there because it's tight against the exhaust. And then there's another little bracket that goes up and over the exhaust. There's 1 12mm bolt you'll need to remove there as well. Now we're going to remove 4 nuts and bolts. These are 14mm. I just use an impact and a wrench. So use the wrench on one side, the impact on the other, and just remove them. Once you get these out, you can drop that cross member down. What I did is I actually just kind of swung the cross member down just so I can get access to that mount there. You can see the mount just up there. Now we can access those 4 14mm bolts, which are on each side. All right, so we can now remove the mount and the heat shield off the mount. So the heat shield's a 12mm and there's 4 14mm. Now there is one bolt here that's difficult to reach. I'm using the interlocking wrench technique. That's for the one bolt that's near the drive shaft. So the drive shaft kind of gets in your way. You can't get a socket on it, but that's the only difficult spot. By using a wrench and the interlocking wrench technique, you won't have to remove that drive shaft, which is a lot easier. So there's a look at my new mount versus my old mount. So my new mount's definitely sitting a lot higher. My old one's definitely sagging a bit and has a lot of cracked rubber. All right, so here I am moving the heat shield over from the old mount to the new mount. I did this in a vise, but you could do this while it's on the vehicle. So you'd want to remove that heat shield with the mount still on the vehicle, put the new mount on, then put the heat shield onto it. I did torque it down to about 9 foot-pounds of torque. I did this just by feel. All right, so here's the correct order for reassembly with that mount. So we'll start off by putting the mount obviously on the transmission. So those 4 14mm bolts, we'll feed them in and then we'll torque them down to 53 foot-pounds of torque. Now I was able to torque all 3 except for one. That was the difficult to reach one, so I did use the interlocking wrench technique there and I just gave it a good amount of torque. You know, the same amount of torque that it felt like it required to pull off, I applied that. And then you can put the cross member back in and feed the bolts and apply the nuts, but don't torque them down yet. That's just to hold the cross member in place while we do those 4 center bolts. So I'm going to torque those down to 22 foot-pounds of torque. Once those are torqued down, then I can start torquing the outside to 53 foot-pounds of torque. I did that with a torque wrench and a wrench on the other side. So here I am applying anti-seize to the 3 bolts we're about to put on. Those are for the brackets or heat shields for the exhaust. So here I am putting those 2 bolts in for that heat shield for the exhaust using the 12mm, and then I'm doing the socket on that one that goes over the exhaust. Remember those bolts I snapped earlier? Here I am applying some anti-seize to the originals and the replacements. And then we'll start putting those member supports back in place and we'll torque those down to 24 foot-pounds of torque. Don't forget the anti-seize. Be nice. Look at that brand new transmission mount. It looks beautiful. All the new mounts are in. Let's take it for a test drive.
All right, so I test drove the vehicle after putting the driver's side in, and I noticed an improvement there. It wasn't huge, but it definitely felt smoother. Then I did the passenger side. I didn't really notice much of a difference. I think the passenger side was still good because it's really, that side's really pulling up when you're reversing. So of course it wouldn't have as much wear, but the transmission mount, when I did the transmission mount, that's when I noticed a big improvement. So definitely assess your transmission mounts and just see how they look. They're easy to assess. You can just go under and look at it, look for cracked rubber, look for a lot of sagging. It's definitely sitting higher, the transmission now, and yeah, it just feels a lot better on the road. I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, please like and subscribe. We'll come up with a lot more videos, and I do always appreciate your guys' support. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye now.